They've already so that, you know, I don't care. I mean, if you go out of your way to show it, I'm gonna go out of my way to tell it. I didn't ask you to come into my sphere. You volunteered. You were the one who decided that me reading an article about the ritualistic sexual abuse that is so in Israel and not being talked about. Like, if you have the issue with that, you know, that says everything I need to know. And I don't think people truly understand the ritualistic sexual abuse that goes on with these people, like how awful it truly is. Whoa, Jesus Christ. That fucking bee just landed right on my shit. I've been letting these things live here much longer than I should have. You know what? They're going to start getting aggressive here in the fall, so I do have to get rid of them. You know, everybody needs to Google Israel Hayom, Hayom, bottom of darkness. I will provide you with a link to it in the description when the video is over. If you have to go early, just go look at the previous video. It'll be there. But understand that it's all connected. And I've been saying this for such a long time that we can't kill the monster by cutting off the tentacles one by one every fucking who knows how long. You know, it's what's a nonce? It's a pedo. It's the British word for pedo. And I know you shouldn't say those things without proving. Dude, you proved it to me. At this point, you would have to prove otherwise. I've never, I can't imagine why somebody would go to such great lengths to attack the person trying to expose these things. Especially somebody who you would assume would be kind of busy. Don't you have videos to edit and shit like that? Don't you have your own sphere to navigate? And yet you're obsessed with me is weird. But it makes sense. It fits. What I want to get is Ben Shapiro's bitch ass. God, I would love to destroy that guy. Oh yeah, in an argument. You know, these people are horrible. They're just horrible people. And because they control so much, we don't talk about it like it is. You know, when you defend genocide, when you defend pedophilia, you're just as guilty. You're a piece of shit. Like, there is no, well, they're only defending it, so no, fuck you. You might as well be committing it if you're defending it. This is the link. And like I was saying, like, I think I can prove some shit here. There's something going on where they all know to say the same things. And their whole objective is to attack the person saying it and to make them crazy, so that anybody that might sort of hear what's being said or whatever, if it, you know, the last thing you want, any of us want, is for crazy people to make sense to us, right? If crazy people start making sense, then you're crazy, right? So as soon as that argument is introduced, your defenses are going to go up. You're going to be like, oh yeah, you're not making sense. You're not making sense. But that's literally all they seem to have. And they use it against their own children when they speak out against the abuse. The article says, the good guys in the articles, right? That's the most fucked up part. This is how you know how fucked up their culture is, their cult is. These are the good guys. And the good guys are saying it. Not only are they, affirming over and over again that this happens everywhere in the world. It's not just here, but it happens everywhere. But they're also affirming the idea that, they make the abuse so severe and so outlandish, so crazy, that people are justified for not believing the kids because the abuse is supposedly so crazy. It's just not how it works. Is going to hear even the slightest sort of abuse story. I mean, I shouldn't say no, but most goyim aren't going to hear their child who is acting differently and who has a bunch of bruises and cuts and shit, saying, yeah, this came from, a group that did this to me. And they're going to be like, stop lying. Don't you say those things. Like, nobody's going to do that. That's not the response. The idea that the abuse is so far-fetched, or not far-fetched, so extreme, so unthinkable, that the children aren't believed, that's not a thing. That's not a legitimate argument. That's not how things work. Well, like I say, even the good guys are pushing that narrative. And it's not Zionist scum. You got to stop falling for that. Zionist is the thing that you're allowed to say, because you're not supposed to think it's all of them. It's the entire cult. They'll tell you it's okay. You can oppose. You're confusing things. You mean Zionist. No, I don't mean Zionist. I don't fall for the Zionist trick. I'm going to put in, a good couple hours, maybe not even, but I'm going to put in some effort today to go to Iowacopwatch's page and expose him for what he is. And I suggest you do the same. Go ask him why he doesn't oppose ritualistic sexual abuse in Israel. No. Hell no. I need that. I'm good. No. No. Leave it here.
No.
Oh, so now you're just going to take it for what reason? You don't need it.
I got more up there.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Maybe you'll change your mind then.
I'm not going to.
I think you should.
I'm not. See the guy. I need a fucking goddamn thing. Gee, that's weird. My kid is talking to me, or talking to his friend, but he's also on my feed, huh? Nick, what are you doing on my feed?
I'm so jealous. I want to be on your feed so bad.
Oh, that's what it
I
is.
want to pretend like I'm one of the monsters on your thing.
Yep, that's so crazy. Nick, don't you do that, grr. I love you, boy. Yeah, he's in there being dumb, talking to his dumb friend. Good try, though. The idea that my kid would give a shit that much. You just clearly don't know kids. I could be the biggest star in the world and they'd be like, stupid. Much better. Bring it out. I didn't bring it. Fuck. Look, I don't know what else you guys need. Like, I believe I provide you with as much proof as someone can without relying on, like, there are lots of guys out there that'll, like, ask yourself, why are there so many Israel people out there, like anti-Israel people allowed to exist, who consistently talk about Zionists? You know, it's interesting how, hang on, shut the fucking light off, dumbass. Shut off this damn light. What's wrong with y'all? That's why this shit hasn't been charging. Jerks. Ugh. Ugh. You're my other child. Oh yeah, my other child. Gotcha. Gotcha. Like, your weird ass fantasies are just so strange. You want my dick so bad, you pretend like you came from it. Literally. We should be talking about Palantir in some way. But this is what I mean, like there are enough people talking about all the bits and pieces, but they're just missing that glue. Or they're too scared to say it. You know? Maybe they have some friar in their life that plays nice with them. Pretends to be nice to them. I don't know. But we're all sort of like, so everybody's like, you know, they're just on the verge, but they can't, you know, the PC movement benefited them more than anyone else. Black people are still oppressed. Females, you know, are still harassed and mistreated. Gays, same thing. The only people that walked away from the whole political correct movement, you know, in this untouchable way are them. You know, if they give us a taste, they can eat the whole pie, and we're like, yeah, we'll see, but we got a little taste. You know, again, how many of these people that have, you know, pretty decent followings, and they post a video and it gets 50, 60,000 views, 100,000 views, million views. How many Epstein videos do you see out there? Lots. Lots and lots of Epstein videos. There's a guy called the Scooper of Coop. I stumbled across his page a couple days ago. Makes great videos. Like some of the best videos I've seen regarding, he made the video Epstein Isn't Dead, and he's doing a series right now about the Vegas shooting that's really, really done well. The thing is, Coop starts each of his videos with something along the lines of like, I pray that God and his son keep the victims close to his heart, blah, blah. Like, he's clearly a completely brainwashed Christian who says especially. I can't stand that. Especially. Don't say especially. There's no X in especially. But there are so many of these videos out there where if it's put out by somebody who identifies as a Christian, he literally can't take it to the next level. If he takes it to the next level, that's going to bring down his house of cards. You can't expose the whole J narrative without destroying your Christian narrative. They're hand in hand. It's one and the same. And that's why you see so many Epstein videos, and none of them talk about, like, they might mention the Israeli connection sort of a little bit, but they just get away from it. They might bring up even Robert Maxwell just a little bit, but then everybody just gets away from it. You know, the Barr family, who supposedly are Catholics, but they, you know, Donald Barr, the patriarch, was Jewish until he converted to Catholicism. Because, you know, you see that shit a lot, right? Look, shut your bitch ass up, loser. Like, again, who the fuck is going to be like that? Who in their right American Christian, you know, white, black, whatever mind is going to be like, hey, this guy is exposing the whole truth about Epstein, about the pedophilia, all of it. He's connecting the dots. Who is going to, why are you so determined to take that? Come on, leave it. I need it. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're the best. Weirdo. Who the fuck is going, like, it's the same who that when a pedo hunter does a live video that start calling, they figure out who the predator is and start calling them and warning them and call the police to go help them and shit like that. Call the store they're working at, tell them to run, tell them to get out of there. Who the fuck is going to do that? The same people that can look at everything Trump's done and you know, he's convicted of rape and then lost the appeal. He appealed the conviction and lost that. Like, who is going to continue to support this monster knowing all of the things that he's actually been accused of and actually been exposed of, with all the stuff that's lingering, that's being kept from us? Who's going to continue to support this man so associated with rape and child abuse other than pedophiles? It's not like I mean, I can't even say, like, at least he gave us, like, even if he gave us free health care, even if he gave us, you know, a spending allowance, even if he gave us solar road, even if he fixed all the problems, if I find out that he's as associated with abuse as Trump, fuck that. That guy needs to die. He just goes into the pedophiles who die pile. But ask yourself, who else is going to support this man? Who else finds out somebody is associated with pedophilia and goes, it's not my kid, so, well, I guess I don't really care. I'd say I think there's a lot more of you out there than I realize. But those are the same people that have child exploitation materials on their phone. Those are the same people that wouldn't want you looking up their search history. Those are the same people that are constantly hitting up the takedown with Chris Hansen profiles, but they just don't show up anywhere. Or the Gordon Flowers, or the Dads Against Predators, or the Creep Catchers, or the Predator Poachers, or Pop Squad, or any of the numerous pedo hunters out there whose decoys get hit up like incessantly. More so than if it was just a regular, a hot chick in her 20s. Who do you think's doing all that? It's your neighbors. It's the people up and down the street. If you look up the registry in your neighborhood, it's going to light up like a Christmas tree. You'd be shocked by how many of the people in your neighborhood have fucked with a child. And those are the people that have gotten caught. That's like a 1%, if it's that much. Ask any pedo hunter you know, or you're in contact with. Ask them how many people actually hit up the profile, even just to say, hey, what's up? There is no reason why any adult should be hitting up a profile of, a very young looking teen who checks that box 18 or checks the box 21, because it's 12 in reverse, whose name is like Becky, 2013 or some shit. Obviously that's a child. And there's just no reason why any fucking adult should be trying to talk to that kid. For any reason whatsoever. If that child profile is on Grindr, you have no business talking to it. They're children. What the fuck is wrong with you? It's just, in anybody that does hit the profile up has nefarious intentions. Maybe they got spooked, maybe whatever it is that they stopped, but there's no fucking reason other than they got some shit going on. And ask any of those hunters, do you ever have a dull night where you post something and it doesn't get hit up? Fuck no. As soon as they post the profile, as soon as they post the picture, ding, hey, what's up? Ding, hey, what's up? Hey, 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 hey. It's everywhere. The buying and selling of child exploitation materials on the dark web is one of the number one businesses, money makers on the dark web. It's not that way because it's a small niche of people. This is everywhere. This shit is everywhere. That's why the laws need to be changed in the first place. Why aren't the laws already that we kill pedophiles? Why isn't that just the standard? You get caught at a situation, you get caught in a sting, anything. You show up to fuck with a child, you're directly getting taken to the fucking firing squad. And that's it. We're just going to kill you. We're not going to have you, in jail that needs to be paid for, lawyers, judges, all the friars going to make money off of you. No. You're there. There's no reason why you should be there. You did not come there just to bring the soda. You did not come there because you're a secret agent trying to expose things. You get killed. Eventually, we'll institute the program. where those who have those urges can be on the program, and if they follow the rules, then they get given the people that fucking show up. Look, look, it's Jesus. I can see Jesus's face. He's sticking out his tongue. You see that, you guys? Oh my God. He's got a big J nose. He's got a big friar nose. Doesn't it look like a face? Sticking its tongue out? Yeah. Who the hell do you think is going to be on my nuts like this? Make it make sense. You know, this is that key piece that we need to understand. They have you saying Zionists and all this other bullshit while you're distracted by the fact that the cult, you know, it permeates our fucking governments. AIPAC controls the government. They say that 85 to 90% of Congress is AIPAC controlled. They have an AIPAC guy that they need to to consult with before they make any decisions. Look at my feed, guys. Who the fuck is going to oppose me? You telling me that there are just these regular, normal people who aren't pedophiles, who aren't friars, who are just mad. They set their alarms, they come here every day, waste hours of their life trying to get my attention, not addressing what I'm saying, just saying stupid shit because I'm wrong? Does anybody else you know experience this? Again, go look at all the Epstein videos you can find. They don't have these people aren't all over the Epstein videos telling the creator they're stupid, you're stupid, blah, 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 blah. I always ask the people like Coop, how can you be smart enough to question everything but Christianity? And the answer is because they don't want to. They see it. You guys all know. I don't believe any of you that are Christians, that claim to be Christians, actually believe what you say. And it's pretty easily proven, right? There's a rule book that you're given that says you specifically have to follow these rules if you want to go to heaven when you die. And if you don't follow these rules, you're going to go to hell when you die and burn for all of eternity, again, because God loves you. But you better follow these rules if you want to go to heaven. And it's even broken up between an Old and a New Testament. And not only do none of you follow all of those rules, you don't even know it. You don't even know what rules you're breaking, therefore you have to repent for. You continue to have sex for non-procreation purposes. You're not supposed to be doing that shit. But you do it. And I guess every time you do it, as soon as you're done, you repent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just had sex again. I'm sorry. Y'all had sex before you were married. Well, not. That's a that's a generous assumption, I'm sure. But a lot of you had sex before you were married, whether you paid for it or not. That's beyond the point, but you're going to hell, you know it. You know it. I think they might have shut the comments off. Obviously, if there's 60 watchers and no comments coming through, they shut the comments off already. Oh, no, they didn't, apparently. Cool. Good to know. Jesus is Lord. Like, can you imagine seriously being that stupid that you just can't comprehend what's being said, so you just like, rah, Jesus is Lord, rah, like that. You're just like, it's a mantra or some shit, just so you can convince your brain that he's not right, Jesus is Lord, rah, Jesus is Lord, rah. But you don't know the shit. You couldn't make a good argument for Christianity on your best day. None of you can. There is no good argument for it, but you couldn't. I'm not a pedophile nor a Jew. You, sir, are a cunt. You're, Y-O-U-R, a fucking stoned retard who walks around his garden ranting about pedo and Jews. Breathe some oxygen. Get some water. Yep, that's the response. Oh, look. You finally ran out of shit to say. So you thought you'd post a pedo flag. Joined 2 weeks ago. 0 subscribers. There you go. You got your wish. Fly the pedo flag. Get eliminated like pedos should. Oh, there goes another one. Right on. Joined 3 years ago. Has 11 subscribers. He's going to fly the pedo flag because he knows there's no argument. He can't make an argument. And the thing is, if I say you're flying the pedo flag, and then you hurry up and fly it, what are you saying? You're not going, hey, what do you mean, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. You're just going, here, I'll fly it. Definitely a Nazi. National Socialist, Zionist? No, I'm good. More of that stupid shit. Jesus is king. May he touch you all over. Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, even your sayings are creepy and fucking gross. The Israeli flag being the pedo flag. Absolutely. Hey, answer a question instead of letting these people rage bait you. Yes, I am rage baited. Oh, what a dumb thing to say. That means people can do that to you, I guess. You fall for rage bait. How did that even become a thing? Don't you ever question that? How does suddenly, out of the blue, we all say something? Who was the first one to start pushing that idea, and why did it take off so well? Especially when you realize it's something stupid. So if it's something stupid that took off really well, it's probably them doing it. Just like how they all say, take your meds, schizophrenic, projecting, the shit I've been literally reading to you for a year now. Well, no, the ACT-IL thing came to me like 8 months ago, maybe. I don't know. But I've known Team Jorge for a long time. And Team Jorge is fucking insane. The ability to create 30,000 avatar bots with multiple social media profiles to attack any one individual. Like, that's an incredible thing. To manipulate the outcomes of presidential elections. That's incredible. But ACT-IL is very specific. And it has that one specific line about the provided talking points. Which is why you always see these people that come in and talk shit instead of talking about the good things. You're wrong about the friars. They do this. You're wrong about Israel. It's this, and it's beautiful, and this, that. We have a right to this land. Any of it. They don't say any of it. It's just a consistent, mental disorder. You have a mental disorder if you talk bad about the friars or Israel. Think about that, man. That's just a brilliant way to do it. Because mental disorders are something that one, in our culture is like, it's kind of a taboo thing, right? Like, everybody sort of dances around things like that, but mental disorder, especially in the schizophrenic kind of way, means you are just not to be trusted. You're not to be engaged. You're not to be believed. You're schizophrenic. Which is weird because it's funny that they don't have a better word to use than that. I mean, they know not to say anti-Semitism because I'll just destroy them on that one. Or anti-Semitic especially. But, I'm surprised they don't have some sort of specific mental illness, mental disorder that is, you don't like the Jays. That makes you crazy. Look at this shit. Look at how it's just dumb. Why do you rant so much? If someone said something, you literally said, ooh. I said, coo. He only has one subscriber in every 2 weeks. You have no argument. You are a joke. And seen as one also. Uh-huh. Yep, I'm a joke. I'm the guy that thinks we should kill pedos. I'm the guy that thinks we should eliminate the J slavery, the J slave owners. The ones committing the genocide. Ha 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 ha. And see, they can always type these long-ass things, but never actually point to any specific thing I'm getting wrong. And it's not like I'm talking about a whole huge range of conspiracies and all that. No. It's the same thing every day. I might add to it. There might be a new piece added to it. But yep, you could tell me why I'm crazy. Because I'm doing this and I'm doing that. How dare you expose the J slavery and the J perspective and the friar perspective? How dare you expose the friar ritualistic sexual abuse? What's wrong with you, you dumb goyim? You're not supposed to say these things. You're supposed to be quiet. I haven't made a single point. Kanye syndrome. Exactly. Why do you think they did the whole Kanye thing? Right? Kanye, from the beginning, so many people were saying, oh, Kanye's going to suicide. Kanye's going to kill himself, blah, blah, blah. And I just kept saying, no, he's not. He's doing his part. The only reason we ever knew about Kanye is so that they could use it against us. We knew about Kanye because the news told us to. None of you followed Kanye. Kanye hadn't been putting out any music in a long time. Clearly the lobotomy really fucked with him. But nobody follows Kanye. And actually, some of the things he said were old. Didn't matter when he said it. It mattered when Netanyahu, Itmar Ben-Gvir, Bezalel Smotrich, and Avi Moaz, along with the rest of the supremacist coalition that is in charge of Israel now, was being put in. We were all distracted from this tremendous happening. A man under indictment is being named prime minister, but more so dictator because he can't be removed from power. And instead, we're all focused on something dumbass Kanye says. They were teaching us a lesson. They knew what was happening. This was all mapped out. The October 7th, 2023 false flag where no Israelis died and no Israelis were taken hostage. That was a plan long in advance. They were setting that up. So much so that in May or so of 2023, April, May, something like that. I told everybody, if Israel doesn't do some sort of false flag bullshit and then start the genocide because of it, by December of 2023, then I'll stop making videos. You can find multiple videos of me saying that exact thing. Funny how they don't clip that one, huh? This was no secret. This was no surprise. And Kanye was a big piece of it. Kanye has said all kinds of stuff since then. Kanye released the Hail Hitler song. And that was like, you know, low-level news. It wasn't, like, that wasn't like the top of the news. Kanye releases this. It wasn't like that. And then it got removed. And it wasn't even like, the song doesn't even say anything. Let's read the lyrics to it. Right? It's still something, and he's the example. They were using us as an example. Go away. Oops. Why the fuck can't I find it? This song is currently unavailable. Funny how I can't find the lyrics. Sign up to see the lyrics.
People everywhere are recommending GoodRx.
My neighbor showed me the app. It helped me save on my kids' allergy pills.
GoodRx, because
Well, this is the song. No, I'm not gonna play the song because can't get in trouble. Let's see, the Wikipedia thing won't have the lyrics. How Hitler, also known as the alternative version, Nigga Hail Hitler, and later known as Hallelujah, is a song written by Kanye. It was independently released on May 8th, 2025 as a third single from his upcoming 13th studio album, In a Perfect World. The title, after the exclamation said when doing the Nazi salute, the song features additional vocals from West group The Hooligans. Written by American rapper Dave Bluntz, it was produced by Quadwoofer and Chef Made. So, Kanye didn't even write the song? The track received negative reviews from critics, including outrage and condemnation due to its anti-Semitism and praise of Adolf Hitler. West has claimed that the controversial nature and subject matter of Hail Hitler caused the song to be banned from all major digital streaming platforms. Yeah, it has. The song has been banned in Germany due to Germany's laws against extremist symbolism and hate speech. West's travel visa to Australia was revoked due to the song's contents. West re-released Hail Hitler in multiple altered forms since it was taken down. An instrumental version was uploaded in its place on May 29th and the Hail Symphony, later Hit Symphony, after announcing that he was done with anti-Semitism. And West released Hallelujah on May 3rd, an alternate version of Hail Hitler that replaces the references to Nazism with lyrics relating to Christianity. Go fucking figure. If that doesn't tell you exactly what I'm saying, I didn't even know that was the case. I thought it was weird when the song came out, but the song didn't say anything. There was nothing like, he just said Hail Hitler over and over again, but the lyrics aren't like they're taking over, or no, it wasn't like that. It was kind of goofy. The video was pretty sweet, but you can't believe everything you read online. So that was on Wikipedia. Thanks for the introduction there, douchebag. That's on Wikipedia, and it's one of these locked pages that nobody can edit, even though nobody can edit Wikipedia anyway, unless they're given permission, because Naftali Bennett, at the time, 2010, future Prime Minister of Israel, now he's a former Prime Minister of Israel, said to IsraelNationalNews.com,
Moetzet Yesh, in conjunction with My Israel, has arranged Instruction Day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia,
because they don't know how
which
to.
is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
I came here to learn.
So when I'm reading you what Wikipedia says, it's because that's what Israel wants us to know. Israel or Wikipedia was the #1 source of information in the world, and they needed to be taught how to edit by Israel. What sense does that make? But it's like he said it in a way that makes it the worst way possible. You know, instead of saying, you know, edit it in a way that exposes the negativity that's been bestowed upon the friar people. He says, so everything is balanced and Zionist in nature. Like, that should say everything you need to know. So when I'm reading Wikipedia stuff to you, it's because I don't think I can find something that is more what they want us to know. Less conspiracy theory than Wikipedia. Wikipedia is what they want us to know. Especially on the pages that are completely locked, so the illusion of being able to edit isn't there. Anybody can edit Wikipedia. If anybody could edit Wikipedia, they could destroy Wikipedia. By the way, if you're watching, like, share, and sub. If this shit's crazy to you, if you're done being a fucking slave, if you're done with the genocide and done with the pedophilia and all that shit, like, share, and sub. If I'm wrong about any of this, make sure you smash the dislike button. Smash it. But shouldn't we be done with all of this shit? Shouldn't we be done with being manipulated and abused and you know, they're literally bragging about the genocide they're committing on TV right now, while calling themselves the victims. It's nothing new. Their claims, their justification that what they do is in response to something. They say, well, Hamas commits economic terrorism because they launch rockets that cost between $300 and $800 into Israeli airspace, so they can be shot down by rockets that cost tens of thousands of dollars, the interceptor rockets. They're committing economic terrorism. That's literally the shit that they try to say. When they killed some 270 people or some shit like that to supposedly save the 4 hostages back in, like, I don't know, June of 2024 maybe, I don't remember. 3 of them were so 3 of them were found in a prominent physician's house. He had a big old house where multiple generations of family lived, like a compound, but like a house, you know, whatever. 3 generations of family lived there. He was a respected doctor in the community. His son was a reporter who the day before had written a scathing article against what Israel was doing. The next day, the IDF came, kicked in his door, snatched him up and snatched up his father and his wife, They shot his wife in the head, shot his father in the head, and then shot him in the head. And then suddenly, 18 soldiers went in, 15 came out, along with 3 hostages, all of which were, not gaunt, not emaciated, no marks, no bruises, tan, with stories to just, to balance out what's going on. They would say things like, oh, guys, this part's hard for me to talk about, but at one point, all one of them did was stand in front of the open window that they were allowed to have. So apparently they had freedom of movement and a big open window they could stand in front of. And because he did this, those savages made him lie in a bed for 24 hours without speaking to anyone. Can you believe that? Savages. No wonder they're getting bombed. One of the other ones, because there were 3 in one house and 1 in another. One of the other ones, all he did was wash his dirty fucking fryer hands in the drinking water. That's all he did. Because they have water set aside for hand washing and water set aside for drinking, apparently. So all he did was wash his dirty fryer hands to get his fryer essence into the drinking water that people would drink. Can you imagine somebody washing their hands and then you drinking out of it? Ugh. But because of that, now this is even worse. They made him lie in a bed for over 24 hours with a bunch of blankets on him. And it was hot outside. So not only do they have beds, they have blankets, freedom of movement, windows, drinking water, access to drinking water, hand washing water, because he was supposed to wash his hands in hand washing water. Another one, the other hostage that was from the other house that they raided, the female, get this, they made this princess. I struggle even saying it. They made her wash dishes. Can you believe that shit? After they fed her, they made her wash dishes. Do you guys now understand why the Israelis are starving the Palestinians? One of them had to wash dishes. And of course, no one in the community that they were in had any idea that they were being held there. And anyone who was a witness was killed. Or threatened to be. Traumatized by watching murder. And then Israel bragged again that they killed some 270, 280 some people to save these 4 people. That nobody had any idea were even there. And of course, that well-respected doctor, well, he didn't have any Hamas ties. And it was just coincidence that his son wrote that article the day before. It's just coincidence, you guys. These are the narratives that you've been given. If you remember, the first hostage that was released, was an old woman who, when she was released, she turned around and shook the hand of her captor. This was like 2 weeks after October 7th. Turned around and shook his hand, like anybody would. And when interviewed, she said that she was treated really well. I mean, she was abused at first, but apparently all of her old lady bruises didn't turn into giant strawberries like they usually do with old people. They all healed up within 2 weeks. She said they were fed really well, and that all of the elderly people had individual doctors assigned to them to make sure they got all their elderly people medication. Because if they didn't say that, someone like me would have been like, hey, if they're hostages and they're elderly, they probably need different kinds of heart medications and all these other things. Where are they getting these medications from? Strangely enough, They don't have medications for their own people, but every single one of those hostages gets all their medications, right? Makes sense, doesn't it? There are no hostages. It's all bullshit. The narrative keeps changing. The one guy, there was two guys that supposedly were basically filmed being kidnapped, and then were, I guess, given a camera or something to document their experience multiple times. But they're the only two hostages that happened with. And of course, you have multiple instances where, you know, the hostages are kissing, literally kissing their captors, hugging their captors, saluting their captors. If you're an American, you should be furious about this shit. You're a veteran, you should be furious about this shit. Americans are going to be sent to go die over this bullshit. And there's going to be some huge fucking false flag where, you know, the Iron Dome defenses failed or something and a whole bunch of Americans were killed. Is that what you want? We have zero business sending our kids to go die over there right now. None. And it's not like they're fighting against some sort of elite special force. The Palestinians they don't even have a government. They don't have a military. That's why they always call them militants. To make it sound worse. So you go, oh, you mean like those Muslim militants, those Islamic militants that did, oh, okay. But all it is somebody that fights back. Anybody that fights back is considered a militant, and that way they can be destroyed. Every piece of information we get about this whole thing comes from Israel. It's just, you know, they've been claiming, you know, 50 to 60,000 people have been killed for over a year now. Yet we see it, like it's just rubble. And it's way, way, way more people than that. But it just keeps getting, it's just 50, it's 50, 60,000. Way more than were killed in the Nakba. And the number's probably closer to like 400,000. Guys, why are we allowing this to happen? Why are we allowing ourselves to be used and abused so much? Children are being starved to death. The children that happen to be lucky enough to have survived having a bomb dropped on their house, who now live in a tent and are just awaiting for the bomb to drop on the tent. And while they're waiting, they're starving to death. Why are we okay with any of this? Just think about how fucking crazy it is. And of course, look at the comments. I'm a bad guy because I think we should stop the genocide. What American thinks we should keep giving Israel $3.8 billion cash, lump sum payment, first fiscal month of every year? Part of the memorandum of understanding that's signed every 10 years and will be re-signed by Trump in either 2026. It's probably going to get re-signed next year. I don't know if it doesn't go into effect until 2028 or whatever, but it's going to get re-signed by Trump. And he's going to give Israel $100 billion over the next 10 years, which is $10 billion, which is almost 40 billion shekels each year once the transfer happens, once the conversion happens. $3.8 billion is roughly 15 billion shekels every year. Every fucking year. In the beginning of the year, too. It's not like it's at the end. It's in the beginning so that it's like the down payment. And then throughout the year, they demand more and they get it. It's astonishing how much money has been given to Israel, who is the aggressor. Who they don't even talk about the Israeli casualties because they don't exist. Like it's just appalling, man. And like I was reading to you in the last article, the Israel Hayom article. Ritualistic child sexual abuse is it is more common than you can even begin to imagine throughout the entire state, country, whatever the fuck they claim to be. All of the different sectors, all of the different, communities, secular, Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox, Hasidic, all of them. And it's like extremely well known. The fact that you bring up Moloch, shit like that, like, it's amazing how many people know about Bohemian Grove bullshit thanks to, controlled opposition Alex Jones, but know nothing about this. They don't know anything about Team Jorge. They don't know anything about Act IL. I experienced something in the last 2 days that just confirmed it to me. When I post Free Palestine on some random video, and I'm immediately attacked by Jays who one is posting a picture of a severely deformed, challenged child with a helmet on, saying free, and then it says Free Palestine, like mental issues, like these inbred fucks who are so used to mental issues think it's so funny. Like it's just like, how many of you would post that? How many of you would post that picture as your response? None of you. None of you think child fucking, that children being compromised or abused is even slightly funny. And when the shit's pointed out that's you're proving who you guys are, you're disgusting, you're genocidal, you're pedophiles, Matitza Bepe. When I prove that I know more than I should know, they go, oh, well, you're just a schizophrenic who's off his meds. The fact that they all say the same things, none of them say, you're wrong, Matitza Bepe is a beautiful thing, and it's blah, 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 and it's this, and it's that, and, we're not genocidal, that's not true, we blah, blah, we want to live with everybody, we want peace. They don't say anything like that. They all say the same provided talking point. And, how do they all know? How did they know not to show up on September 11th? How did they know not to show up on April 19th, 1995 in the OKC thing? They claim that's not true. It's not true. Do you know, like, if the World Trade Center in the middle of Manhattan, or wherever the fuck it was, I think it was Manhattan, in the middle of New York, like, it should have been, because they initially reported, if you remember, if you were there, if you were watching it live, you remember them saying it's got to be 10 to 15,000 people had to have been killed. Oh my God, 10 to 15,000. Like, that was the initial estimates, because that's what it should have been. The vast majority of the employees who work there are going to be friars. And for some strange reason, The vast majority of those friars didn't show up that day. They were late. Eight to 10 to 15,000. You guys remember that shit? And see, again, look at the comments. I sound like an Islamist because I'm pushing that Islam, dumbass slop, right? Their preparation is so poor. They're not used to someone like me. You know, they know that they have a job to do. They want to get their points. But the usual things just don't work. You know, if I wasn't so openly anti-Christian, they'd be running with that, oh, you think we killed your Jesus bullshit. But they know that one won't work. They try with this Muslim shit, but again, sorry, neither of the Abrahamic religions work on me. And they just eventually they run out of stupid shit to say. So then once they really do run out, they'll start flying the pedo flag. But it's you know, it's really telling if you're paying attention. If I was wrong about any of the shit, then that's what they would focus on. With as much time, effort, and energy as they put into me, that's what they would focus on. They would focus on the things that I'm wrong about and you know, use it to make me look stupid. I'm not wrong about anything. None of them are going to be able to justify Matitza Pape. Not even a little bit. It's ritualistic sexual abuse, and it's the most important mitzvah they have. You know, it's the most important ritual in their whole list of crazy rituals. You know, the cutting and sucking of baby penises is tip top.
Don't do it. Don't do it. He's killed me many times. He's killed me more times now.
It's fucking disgusting. You need a little meat flute to what? Again, who would say that shit? What disgusting person would say that in response to that? Sometimes you just need a little meat. Ugh. Oh my God. It's because it's getting hot. Yeah, open it up. Back up if you want to. You know, you should be proud of yourself. If you oppose the worst of us, even though you're told you're not allowed to, and you still do it, you should be proud of yourself. I guess, not even. Like, you should be proud of yourself that you oppose pedophilia. No, you shouldn't be proud of yourself. My bad. That's just fucking normal. That's normal. Nobody, it should be eliminated. There should be zero tolerance whatsoever. Trump hasn't created the task force to combat pedophilia. And like I say, you see so many people out there with Epstein videos and all that shit. But the one piece that puts it all together is the thing that everybody's programmed not to say. This is cult-based shit. Epstein is just the tiniest piece. He's, he's, I hate to say it, he's a victim of it, but he's a victim of it. The abuse was more than likely done to him. That's why he thought it was so okay. Trump is on the list, and anybody that's a pedo. Now more than ever. I guess until recently you could kind of say you hadn't heard anything because they had covered it up. But, the Katie Johnson thing, her deposition is so powerful when you compare it to the things that he said. Her saying that he was so interested in her because she looked like his daughter. And then you compare it to all the things he said about his daughter. If she wasn't his daughter, he'd be dating her. And, just there's so many fucking cringe, disgusting things that he said about his own daughter. And every time she kind of, I think she should be deposed under oath. Because that matters, right? The fact that any of you fall for that shit, you're under oath. So that means you have to tell the truth now. What? Because I raised my hand and I put my other hand on your stupid Bible. I'm under oath now? To who? I don't pledge allegiance to anybody, so why would I? What oath am I taking? And I'm sure these fucking monsters who can rape children wouldn't mind lying under oath. It's just, these are the tricks that are done to us. They don't follow those things. Everybody thinks if you file bankruptcy, you're some sort of big loser, this, that, and the other. The fucking president of the United States, used to brag about all of the bankruptcies he filed. Yeah, just try saying the devil made you do it and see how far that gets you. Exactly. You know what, James Dixon? I'm used to ignoring you. I forgot you converted to Gaianism. I forgot about that. I shouldn't be ignoring you, James. Doesn't look like you said anything else, so that's cool. Look at this is your average J thing. Well, what about the Muslims in the UK and the American raping children? What? Because that's what I should be talking about. Don't talk about this. Why is it always about them? Do you know how many goofy ass white guys there are out there pushing that shit? Like Tommy Robinson, who's paid for by Israel. Tommy Robinson is an Israeli shill. It's been proven. Any of you still follow Tommy Robinson, it's because you're a dumbass who wants to. They're always trying to get you to focus on the Muslims. Like the Muslims doing it is somehow worse. And the fact is, there are countless people trying to push that narrative. It's not sticking because it's not fucking real. This whole Muslim rape gang, Muslims don't do that. Muslims aren't the ones out there throwing their dicks around in everything they can. Muslims definitely aren't going to rape a white woman and inseminate her so that they can get her pregnant and blah. That's not the Muslim way. This is just a narrative that's being given to you so you're distracted. But even if it was true, there's enough people talking about it. Why should I talk about that instead? This is literally what. Well, what about what they're doing? Well, what about what they're doing? They love playing that card. Another one of those provided talking points. Yet they make you swear in the Bible. Sometimes. I don't think they do as much anymore. Right? I don't think they say, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? I think they say, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you? I think they've taken that out because there's so many people who don't believe in God. Whether they believe in Allah or not, that's a different story, but they still don't believe in God per se. Yep, I'm retarded because I know things you don't. I ask questions you don't ask and aren't smart enough to answer. Yep, I'm making up lies. Like, which things are the lies? Instead of making the baseless claim, why don't you make it with some evidence? What part am I lying about? What part am I lying about Trump? Are you fucking stupid? Trump was literally convicted of rape and then lost the appeal. What are you talking about? The Katie Johnson stuff is well documented. She was recorded saying these things under oath. And then there's all the different comments he said about his daughter. These things aren't fucking, this isn't just shit falling out of the sky and stuff. This is real. The only reason the Katie Johnson thing didn't go all the way through is because her and her family were receiving death threats. Death threats. For exposing this rapist. Who has a pattern of that behavior, who bragged about that behavior. You know, you just do it. You just do it. Listen to what Trump said to Billy Bush. Let's look that up. Billy Bush, you know, a Bush. It doesn't populate. That's funny. I have to type the whole thing in. Yeah. He's okay. October 17th. On October 7th, 2016, 1 month before the United States presidential election that year, the Washington Post published a video, an article about then presidential candidate Donald Trump, and televised the host Billy Bush having a lewd conversation about women in September of 2005. On October 7th, huh? Trump and Bush were on a bus on their way to film an episode of Access Hollywood, a show owned by NBC Universal. In the video, Trump describes his attempt to seduce a married woman and indicated he might start kissing a woman that he and Billy Bush were about to meet. He added, "I don't even wait. When you're a star, they let you. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything." I want to know the full thing. Contents, okay, he says. In the video, Trump tells Billy Bush about a failed attempt to seduce Nancy O'Dell, who was Bush's co-host at the time, circa 2005, of the recording. So before that, they were they were talking about her in some way, and Trump was like, "Oh yeah, this is what I did to her." Makes you wonder what Billy Boy said. He says, "I moved on her and I failed. I'll admit it. I did try and fuck her. She was married. I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch. But I couldn't get there. and she was married. Then all of a sudden I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look. This is the President of the United States. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful women. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. The crazy part is, when Melania found out, let's show you. Okay, on October 7th, a month before the election, the Access Hollywood tape was leaked. This is on Melania's Wikipedia page. The tape had been recorded in 2005, shortly after their marriage, and it featured audio of Donald making lewd remarks about his treatment of women. This is after they were married. I might just start kissing her, he said. Immediately after its release, the campaign's primary concern was Melania's reaction. It took Donald 2 hours before he went to see Melania. Upon their meeting, Melania reportedly told him, "Now you could lose. You could have blown this for us," and then left the room after he apologized. That was her response. You could have blown this for us. Because clearly she's so interested in the presidential campaign, right? Or in the presidency, right? She's such a huge part. She's one of the best first ladies of all time, right? You could have blown this for us. Not, why the fuck would you say that? We're married. I thought you loved me. You were going to kiss that broad? None of that. Her primary concern was the election. Scolded him. He apologized, and she walked off. She is the Israeli agent. She's the agent. You just lied about Muslims. You lied about Tommy. You lied about the majority of your stream. Muslims are raping kids. They're grooming gangs. They're in America and the majority of the world. Yeah, no, they're not. I literally live in the Muslim capital of the United States. There's more Muslims here than there is anywhere else in the United States, and there is no stories of that. Tommy Robinson is paid for by Israel. Tommy Robinson is an Israel supporting fucking, distraction. He's controlled opposition. But I'm lying. I'm lying because it works to my advantage. I'm going to lie about shit that's easy to fucking overturn.
Tommy Robinson exposed from English Defense League to global far-right networks. Tommy Robinson, born Stephen Yaxley Lennon, co-founded the English Defense League in 2009, a street
Born Lennon. Gee, that's weird.
protest group notorious for its anti-Islam stance. Early links tied the EDL to far-right and pro-Israel networks, including Roberta Moore, a former Israeli soldier, and later financial backing from U.S. donors like Robert Shillman and the Middle East Forum. Robinson even visited the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights, pledging to fight for Israel. Critics say his rise reflects deep international support, while supporters argue he's simply a silenced patriot. Either way, Robinson remains one of Britain's most controversial far-right figures. For more updates, stay connected.
Gee, that's weird. Let's see. Low key exposes Tommy Robinson's link to Israel.
We hit the jackpot. You mean we?
Because I'm lying, right?
Get to where he is.
All you Trump supporters, you might as well say you fuck kids, because you do.
When we look
Or at
into
least you
the
want to.
background of the organization he founded, the English Defence League, we could take the view that it was...
What an amazing coincidence that the name of his organization is the English Defence League. They love to do those Defense League type things, but I'm sure it's just another coincidence.
intended to be an offshoot of the terrorist Zionist organization, the JDL, the Jewish Defence League. In fact, his co-founder at the English Defence League was an individual who called himself Paul Ray. Paul Ray, prior to founding the English Defence League, infiltrated the International Solidarity Movement, a pro-Palestinian organization which Rachel Corrie had been a member of. Paul Ray infiltrated and spied on this pro-Palestinian organization and then submitted the information to several different intelligence agencies. Following his work for Israel, Paul Ray founded the English Defence League with Tommy Robinson. When it came time for the English Defence League to be registered on Companies House, that was carried out by a former Israeli soldier, Roberta Moore. Moore led what they called the EDL's Jewish Unit, which regularly partnered with the Zionist Federation to hold demonstrations outside the Israeli embassy. Roberta Moore is pictured here with the vice chair of the Zionist Federation at the time, Jonathan Hoffman.
Jonathan Hoffman is a former vice chair of the Zionist Federation. Members of the racist English Defence League, or EDL, attended a demonstration that Hoffman helped organise. He is photographed alongside Roberta Moore, the founder of the EDL's Jewish division. She will later express her admiration for Anders Breivik, the neo-Nazi who murdered 77 people in Norway.
When Roberta Moore was asked if the EDL was exploiting the Zionist movement, she replied, "If anything, we are exploiting them." I received these packages today.
He's admired somewhat as one of the brains of the EDL. He's just got a delivery of quotes from the Quran from his researcher in Israel.
Roberta Moore is pictured here alongside the head of the Canadian branch of the Zionist terror organization, the JDL, and the genocidal Israeli politician, Moshe Feiglin, who has called for the complete annihilation of all human life in Gaza. On the 28th of February 2013, the English Defence League, as registered on Companies House, was changed. The name of the organisation became the Jewish Defence League, JDL UK. It's important to remember that the JDL is designated as a terrorist organisation by the US government. It was founded by Meir Kahan, the well-known Israeli fascist, who advocated for the complete ethnic cleansing of Palestine. But the connections of Tommy Robinson and the English Defence League to the JDL do not end there. One of the earliest supporters of the EDL and a regular speaker at their rallies outside of the Israeli embassy was none other than Rabbi Nachum Shifrin.
How would you feel if one day your children or your grandchildren are saying 5 times a day, Allah Akbar? What if this one is coming down on you here and now? It will be recalled on this day that it was the EDL that started the liberation of England.
Nachum Shifrin was the driver for the founder of the JDL, Meir Kahan. The only other time the English Defence League was registered on Companies House was by Tommy Robinson's personal assistant, Helen Gower. When she registered the organization, the name was the English and Jewish Defense League. So the question has to be asked here, was Tommy Robinson's English Defense League founded to be an offshoot of the Zionist terrorist organization, the JDL? And if so, why hasn't that been mentioned or written about extensively in the British media? Tommy Robinson then went on to be a Shillman Fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center. Now, the David Horowitz Freedom Center shares funders with the Friends of the IDF and illegal settlements in the West Bank. But that position was directly funded by tech billionaire Robert Shillman. Who is Robert Shillman? Well, he was a board member on the Friends of the IDF at the very same time that he was funding Tommy.
So you're a disgusting piece of shit.
Robinson to the tune of £8,000 a month, according to his other former assistant, Lucy Brown, on the Friends of the IDF, at the very same time that he was funding Tommy Robinson to the tune of £8,000 a month.
8,000? Gee, that's weird. Isn't that story that just came out about all of the social media influencers who were getting paid $8,000 a month? Gosh, that is so coincidental. This is from a year ago.
According to his other former assistant, Lucy Brown. Here we see Robert Shillman speaking at the Zionist Organization of America and describing his pen and his checkbook as weapons.
With this pen and my checkbook, I provide ammunition. I wield a pen to provide ammunition to those organizations like ZOA who are on the front lines in this battle.
Tommy Robinson has also received funding from the US neocon think tank, the Middle East Forum, which was quoted 13 times by Anders Breivik in his manifesto he released before killing over 70 people. The head of the Middle East Forum is Greg Roman, who's a former employee of the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Israeli Ministry of Defense. All of these connections would lead you to question where Tommy Robinson's ultimate loyalties lie, especially when he has been pictured on the top of a tank in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights of Syria and stated so clearly that he would enter a war on behalf of Israel.
If there was a war tomorrow, which there will be, because I'll probably start at the end of the session, if there was a war and it kicked off, I would be there on the front line fighting for Israel.
Save our kids? What about the 20,000 kids killed by Israel in Gaza? When Israel killed 3 former British soldiers with an airstrike in Gaza, what was the response of Britain's patriot, Tommy Robinson? British people that do aid work in Gaza are cucks. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. How can Tommy Robinson define himself as a patriot, but speak with such callousness about the death of former British soldiers? I think Tommy Robinson owes an apology to the families of John Chapman, James Kirby, and James Henderson. Those who serve as an attachment to the war industry have sought to pin the blame for what is happening in this country on Russia. It's interesting because there is far more of a material connection between Tommy Robinson and a particular genocidal ally in the Middle East. As you've seen, unfortunately, the mainstream media across the last decade.
The truth is coming out. No one else will about the Palestinians. Oh, look who's telling you this. Go figure. It's some Jew. I mean, listen. At this point, if you're not actively opposed to what's happening, you're a piece of shit. Tommy Robinson wouldn't be somebody we all know without the Team Jorge programs behind him. Why do you think his pages got so many likes out of nowhere? That's Team Jorge. That's 30,000 bots at a time being used to promote somebody. That's where does the funding come from to be a Tommy Robinson? Amanda Danielle. What about Amanda Danielle? Same thing. Madison Star Moon. Where does that funding come from? That you can just go travel around the country flying in planes everywhere.
I want to do that.
No, you don't. Not if it costs you. You have to be an Israeli show. And you have to remember, if they're out traveling, they still have a house back at home. You know, they still have a dwelling that needs to have rent paid, electricity, water bills, all that stuff paid. So when they're not traveling, they have a place to be where they can keep all of their stuff. So somebody's paying for everything. The flights, the hotels, the food, the transportation. You know, this isn't cheap. You know, you can't just. It's just like this idea that it's not the Jays. It's the Zionists. It's not the Friars. It's the Zionists. There are good ones out there who oppose the genocide taking place right now. Really? Do they also oppose the existence of Israel altogether? Because it shouldn't be there. It's the most unfair, cruel story, you know, next to the founding of the United States. The idea that people lived here or lived there, it had been a very prominent country, you know, in the scheme of things. Like, you know, both world wars were about establishing Israel. World War I was about establishing British Mandate Palestine. So then for the next 30 years, the Palestinians became weak, complacent. The British have their backs. The British army will fight their shit. The British government governs all their stuff. Like they gave in to the idea because the British were good to them. You know, it's just like they do with us. They're nice to you until the time comes. But the British took care of everything. They provided them protection. They provided them security. And then suddenly, you know, World War II happens, and you have this hoax narrative that is somehow validates, justifies the I'm not down there. I don't know. That somehow justifies what's going on. Or that somehow justifies the idea that they wanted that area. So because of something the Germans supposedly did, hundreds, 1,000 miles away or so, the Palestinians have to pay for what the Germans supposedly did. Like, it just doesn't make any sense outside of crazy ass conspiracy. Right? It's just not. It's not. You know, it's not how things work. And anybody that says, "Oh, well, that's their ancestral land," like, where does that? What do we do with that? How do we draw that line? Is it just like a specific group that gets to do that? Is there a specific time frame? What's the specifics that you can say, oh, like, can I go to a house that I used to live in and be like, well, I lived here before you did, so get the fuck out? Can I do that? Can somebody come do that to us? Well, they're dead, so. But could their kids come do that? You think their kids could come in and be like, hey, we're going to let you guys live upstairs. We're going to take over the rest of the house. And because we used to live here. And it's just what, do you think that would work? No. This whole thing is just insane. And it's the big thing. Because, you know, it's the establishment of the headquarters of the base to then attack the rest of us with. Understand that this cult, like, There are all these people out there that are actually speaking up against this. And are you really just going to tell yourself that they're saying this because they're bad people? There's a genocide taking place, and it's bragged about. It's not. Here we go. It's not Hamas that is killing, that's preventing the food from getting to the people. Like I said, Hamas is stealing the aid and shit. That's what they say. You can find countless videos of Israelis, of settlers blocking the road so that the trucks can't get through. That's not Hamas doing it. Hamas isn't even real. Hamas is just the manufactured boogeyman that they use every time they like they're like what ISIS was to us. By the way, if you're watching and you agree that it's time for us to make some changes, it's time to stop the genocide, it's time to stop the pedophilia networks and all that stuff. Like, share, and sub, man. Help out. Take 2 seconds and share this on Facebook. If you're too scared of what people will say, then just put, "This guy's crazy. Somebody come tell him so." But help out. Show that we are the same unified force that they are. They don't care what color they are. To a degree. I mean, there is the whole Filipinos who had been there for generations, well, at least one generation, who considered themselves Israeli, but they were Filipino. They looked Filipino. They were given the option, like they wanted them to leave. So they told them, "We'll give you $1,500 to leave, and then $300 per month for a year, wherever you go, to get the fuck out of here." It's documented. Go look the shit up. Tell me I'm wrong. It's just wild how crazy this whole thing is. And I can't imagine why anybody would ever support this. Even if you're them, I can't imagine why you would support this. You support the genocide of people, so what? There is no danger. There's never been any danger. Isn't it strange how the whole Iraq thing just evaporated? I mean, the whole Iran thing just evaporated. Have you heard anything about that?
No, Trump stopped that war.
Oh yeah, Trump stopped that war. That you stop a war by bombing. That's how that works. When you bomb someplace, they go, "Oh shit, let's stop this. Let's not retaliate."
You know how many wars he's stopped already?
11-5.
He's just incredible. He stops wars. He's a war-stopping president.
That's amazing, Chris. Tell me about the process.
It's so fucking nuts, man.
Oh my god.
It's just so crazy.
This old man in his 80s did this video on Facebook, and he was like, "Listen,
we're gonna retaliate.
I have lived through lots of presidents, more presidents than any of you watching this video, and I've been a Republican my entire life, and I cannot understand how you young people that are so much more well informed can honestly listen to anything that man says and not have alarms going off in your head. The lies, the deceit, the stupidity. Wake up, young people. This is your future, not mine." And it was so compelling and poignant. It's the truth. I don't see how people can, listen to it. And how does any of it make sense? How is any of it true and believable?
I think a lot of it is because they tell us it is, and then they demonize anyone who goes against it so much that, you know, most people are followers. Most people aren't leaders. And so when the majority is going in a way to avoid being ostracized, to avoid being demonized, and, you know, like in this
Ostracized by whom? That's
in this culture we live in, this super PC culture, you're not allowed to shame somebody for being fat. You're not allowed to fat shame, as they say. And that's even saying something like, hey man, you know, you eat too much. Like this, I want you to live a lot longer than you are. You're going to. I care about you. That's fat shaming. But we're not supposed to, you know,
making anybody feel bad for any of their choices is considered shaming anymore.
Right, for the most part. For the most part. But there are a few things that if you say you don't believe in Jesus, if you say you don't believe the earth is round, if you say you don't believe we went to the moon, if you say that you know, free Palestine or whatever, those things you're allowed to be attacked over. And we all see it. We all see that that's how they operate. You know, we know we're not allowed to say things that matter. But as soon as it's something along those lines, people are allowed to go to extremes without receiving any sort of punishment for it. And to the contrary, the people saying it are the ones that get punished. And so most people see that, and because life is already so fucking hard for everyone is just barely making it check to check, you know. I mean, I personally, I can't imagine if I grew up Christian and I truly believed in that shit, and then one day COVID happens, one day something and
the days, baby.
Well, no, but it's not. And oh, you know, and I'm praying and I'm doing all these things, and you know, I gave up this and I donated to the church that, and I did all these things, and then the one time I'm really like, I need you and you're not there. That's got to be really disheartening, and like, you know, really I can't imagine how foolish I would feel if I believed that shit. And now I'm looking at the chosen people slaughtering innocent children, and nothing's happening. You know, it's you know, it comes down to the manipulation is everywhere. And it comes down to what I keep saying to you. It's not about, you know, this place. It's like when people talk about Hollywood used to be racist. Well, Hollywood isn't a person. Hollywood didn't have any feelings whatsoever. Hollywood is just the name of a place that we've all agreed. This area is called this, and they told us that these are the borders of this. And we go, okay. Israel is just a name of a place. It's not a thing. It doesn't have an opinion on things. And it's not Israel that is the problem. All right, see ya. It's the cult that inhabits, that represents that is committing the genocide, that is constantly caught raping not just the children but people. Like this is and this is one of those things too where it's like, again, if you don't believe in those things, then why do you need the cult connection? You can't be like, oh, I really like that NAMBLA has meetings in nice places, and they serve really good food at the meetings, and I don't know, they donate to charities, and they put on some really great little kiddie fairs where, unfortunately, you know, a lot of those guys are shopping at the kiddie fair. But it's a great fair for all the kids that don't get picked, you know, and I belong to that members. I don't actually partake in that, but I support them because they do such good things. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. You don't get to belong to the cult, but then say, oh, well, I don't like this part or that part. Well, then leave the fucking cult. Especially if that stuff is you know, like important. That stuff is the foundation of the cult. You don't get to pick and choose. You're a part of the cult. You got to support the cult. And there's no reason why Matitza pay should be accommodated even a little bit in this country. If it happens once a year, it happens one too many times. It happens way more than that. But this is not something that an advanced, intelligent society should allow to take place. METZITZIA space B apostrophe PEH. Look it up. This is not okay, you guys. We are all here together. And as I always say, like, if you're somebody that says, look, I don't want to be a part of this cult, it's a disgusting cult, I just think we're all here together, let's all work together to make the world a better place, then, you know, we're not talking about a race of people. You can't convert your race. I use this example. I hate using it, but I use it because of how ridiculous the concept is. If I start squinting my eyes and I talk all stereotypical like this, and I say, you have to call me a Chinese now, I converted. Is anybody going to accommodate that? Is anybody going to entertain that? Okay, I guess, sweetheart, I'm Chinese now. Our kids are Chinese now.
Cut half your dick off.
Oh. It's not true. I couldn't handle it. Anyway.
Sorry. You are
black. But think about how ridiculous that is. Claiming that they are a race is ridiculous when people can convert to it. When you have people like Sammy Davis Jr. and Nell Carter, who were black people that converted to their race, they were now a different race.
Well, they're still black.
All right, very much so. Both of those people were very dark-skinned. Dark-skinned. Like, look at the comments, man. Who's going to hear this stuff and oppose what I'm saying other than friars? They're all friars. They're
They fry chicken?
No. No. Friar has multiple meanings. In Hebrew, it is a cultural term for a sucker or a mug who is taken advantage of by not bending rules while also having Germanic roots as a surname. But it's the worst insult that you can call them, apparently. So, they are all friars. F-R-E-I-E-R. Well, F-R-E-I-E-R. Friar. That's how it's pronounced. I looked it up. It's more like friar. Like the emphasis is hard on the I. I don't know. Whatever. Again, look at these comments suggesting that we should kill pedos and eliminate this cult. And I'm just being attacked left and right. Who do you guys think that is? Who do you guys think is really going to be upset with me for saying these things? Nope, it's not. I looked it up. I looked up the pronunciation just so I could be sure. Let me do it now.
That is so weird.
Mm-hmm. Guys, if I was wrong, there wouldn't be this much emphasis on me. There wouldn't be this much attention on me. They're responding like they're terrified. Like they're desperate. And they're just, and it's the same thing again. If you read the Israel Hayom article, which is their article, Bottom of Darkness, which will be linked in the description when we're all done, you'll see that the main sort of excuse as to why they get away with this behavior or why this is such a prominent thing is because the abusers make the abuse so horrible and focus on such young people, such young children, that apparently when it's expressed, it's so hard for people to believe that they just don't. Like, can you imagine our 5-year-old comes up to us and they're all bruised and cut up and their whole personality is completely changed, and they're like, yeah, when you took me to school, they ended up taking me to this place and they did all these horrible things to me and yada, yada, yada. Would you be like, oh, you're just exaggerating?
No.
That's what we're supposed to believe. That's the excuse given by the good guys in the article to sort of justify why this isn't a bigger narrative, is because the kids and the ages are so hard to believe that people just, I mean, it's saying so much worse than they realize. You know, they don't realize that that's not a legitimate excuse. That doesn't smooth anything over. It doesn't make any sense. If a child is telling you some horrible shit and it, you know, again, they're marked up, their personality is different, whatever. Even if your child, you're gonna look into it. And you know, this is reported over and over again. And the police, the other excuse that the article gives is that the police just must not have the resources or the ability to investigate this fully. Like, they present that like it's a reasonable argument. That doesn't make any sense. Why the police don't have what? That's not an no, there's no way they don't have the resources to investigate this. That's not an excuse, and that's not what's happening. They're closing all of these cases almost immediately, not because of a lack of resources. I mean, this is, look at this. Look how mad all these friars are in the comments. Look at this. They're so mad. They're yelling and, this Goyim's not supposed to say these things. We're not supposed to know these things. What do you know, Matitza Bapay? It's beautiful. It's fucking gross, man.
Is that the...
That's the sucky.
Yeah.
Brit Malah is the cutting. Matitza Bapay is the sucky.
Fucking disgusting.
It absolutely is.
Fucking gross.
Would you ever belong to a cult?
No.
Would you ever belong to a cult that is even rumored to be one of the possibilities?
Nope.
Wouldn't you, if you found out that
baby, I'd kill you.
if you found out that what was happening in your cult, wouldn't you immediately leave and then do what you could to expose it?
Oh, I'd go to the authorities.
The authorities, the news, everybody. And all I'd have to do is find out that you were doing it. Well, we've been doing it for thousands of years. Oh, well, then, bullshit. First of all, your cult wasn't invented, isn't thousands of years old. I'm sorry. But Hebrew was invented in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Invented. It wasn't revived.
Invented.
It was invented.
The notion of the word invented.
Well, no, I'm saying that.
It didn't exist before.
Right. I'm saying that. And I'll tell you why. Let me read to you why. Oops. There's a guy called Eliezer Ben Yehuda. That's this fake ass character that they're showing us, right? But let's read what Eliezer Ben Yehuda's story is on this completely locked up page, so nobody can edit it, on the Wikipedia that Israel controls to ensure that everything is balanced and Zionist in nature. Remember? Eliezer Ben Yehuda, born Eliezer Yitzhak Perlman. Isn't it interesting how they all changed their names to sound less identifiable in this regard and more identifiable as Semitic? Born January 7th, 1858, died December 16th, 1922, was a Russian Jewish linguist, lexicographer, and journalist who immigrated to Jerusalem in 1881 when the Ottoman Empire still ruled it. He is renowned as the lexicographer of the first Hebrew dictionary and is also the editor of Jerusalem-based Hazi, one of the first Hebrew newspapers published in Palestine. It's weird, Palestine doesn't exist. Look at all these. Look at. Too much of a coward to actually say it in one line. So he's dropping N-bombs. He's so desperate that he's, I don't know what to do. What do I do? Call him a nigger. Call him a nigger. See, maybe that'll work. Oh my God, what's going on? They're not supposed to know this stuff. To accomplish the task, Eliezer Ben Yehuda insisted with the Committee of the Hebrew Language that, to quote the committee records, in order to supplement the deficiencies of the Hebrew language, the committee coins words according to the rules of grammar and linguistic analogy from Semitic roots, Aramaic, and especially from Arabic roots. Why would they need to use Arabic to supplement the deficiencies of their language if it was thousands of years old and just being revived? Why would it need to be revived? It's not like they were eliminated. Why would they have just stopped speaking this language that was so important to them?
The Holocaust.
This was before that.
No, the Holocaust is the reason for all of it. All of it.
In 1903, Ben Yehuda, along with many members of the Second Aliyah, supported Theodore Herzl's Uganda scheme proposal. It's funny because if Israel is such an important homeland to them, then why were they thinking about making it in Uganda? The only reason it didn't go through is because, one, Uganda was so far out of the loop that supplying them with all of their daily needs would have been difficult. And they would have had to do a lot of work themselves, farming and building and all that.
And the Ugandans heard the shit and went, fuck that.
No, the Ugandans didn't really have a say. But secondly, they were Ugandan. So instead of enslaving people that looked just like them, the whole idea of enslaving black people was really falling out of favor. It wasn't nearly as popular by 1903. Can you imagine if it was like that today? If the Israelis, there was this Israeli homeland in Uganda, and they were doing everything they're doing to the Palestinians, but to black people, oh no, that would not go over well, would it? So they abandoned the Uganda scheme proposal because it would have been too much work. Ben Yehuda raised his son Ben Zion, meaning the son of Zion, entirely in Hebrew. He did not allow his son to be exposed to other languages during childhood, and even berated his wife for singing a Russian lullaby. All the cameras saw that. His son thus became the first native Hebrew speaker in modern times. Now, you can interpret that all you want. Right? Me personally, I'm going to say if it didn't exist until the 1900s, it's probably because it's a new thing. And just because they tell you that there's an ancient narrative regarding it, that doesn't mean it's true. You're telling me that in all of the with all of the ancient Hebrew scrolls and books and engravings and all these things that are said to exist, nobody had thought to make a dictionary? Really? Nobody thought to make a dictionary until 1900s. When this guy did it. Along with all of the other stuff that goes into it. With the Israel stuff, with the Uganda scheme proposal stuff. You know, so many people think that the idea of the, Jewish homeland came with the Balfour Declaration, aka the Rothschild Declaration, in 1916, but it was not. That idea of the homeland was there long before that, and it was always because they needed to escape rising anti-Semitism. We're talking about when Zionism was first. It just so happens that Zionism is also invented at that exact same time. Isn't that weird? So many things that have to do with their thing were invented or revived around the exact same time. Sure, it's just a quinky dink. I'm sure it's just a quinky dink. Rothschild molesters. There you go. Yeah, they are the worst. They own everything. How come whenever you see a list of the richest people in the world, it's topped by like Jeff Bezos and shit, and Rothschild is nowhere to be seen? The Rothschild family, dynasty, whatever. The Rockefellers. How come those people are never on the list? It's all bullshit, man. It's all just as much bullshit as your Jesus. It's all bullshit. The reason why you think it's 2025 AD is bullshit. And the reality is you have zero control over it. And the fact that it could be all just a manufactured narrative isn't that far-fetched. And you have no way to do anything but believe it. That's your option. Anyway, I'm done. Super done. Super exhausted. Super. Not feeling great. So, as always, in the description, there's going to be the link to the website, www.bilderberg.group.com. It's free. All we ask is that you share it with somebody. Click download. It'll ask you how much you want to pay. You click 0, and it's free. There's going to be a link to Hollywoodism, the most important film ever made. It explains everything. It explains everything. If it was a movie I made, word for word, except for when they say us and we, I say they and them, it would get called anti-Semitic and anti-Semitic tropes and how dare you say these things, blah, blah, blah. But good thing is, they made it. And it's a flex. It's them bragging. about what they were able to accomplish, how they not just control America, but control the world through Hollywood. So go watch it. Leave you a link to the Israel Hayom article that should change your life, should change your perspective on things, should open your eyes. Don't forget to go ask Iowacopwatch why he supports pedophiles, why he doesn't want pedophilia exposed. And there's going to be links to the 3 Facebook videos: Donald Trump Hates America, COVID Sauce, and Sleight of Hand Job. Donald Trump Hates America specifically is about the First Amendment auditors and why certain ones are allowed to be so popular, and why aren't they all joining together to combat the fact that Trump is destroying the First Amendment to protect a foreign country. So go check everything out. Go like, share, and sub the Facebook page. Like, share, and sub this page. Help out. And have yourself a great day. Most importantly, more than anything ever, I ask one thing only. I request you guys to go check out those links, but this one's more of a demand. Because of the way the laws work, because we can't do it ourselves, I'm begging all you pedos out there who have fucked with children before or have yet to fuck with children, but you watch videos and all that stuff. Do one good thing in this lifetime, please. One good thing, and kill yourself.